Good afternoon and welcome to sunny St. Albans, Vermont for the annual Duct Tape Derby sponsored by New England Federal Credit Union. I'm Paul Snyder coming to you live from the newly built Greg Brown Lodge at Hardack Recreation Area. Equipped with an enormous common room, bathrooms, kitchen, patio, fire pit, and much more. Staff cannot wait for the community to enjoy this building to its full potential. And of course, the Greg Brown Lodge has amazing views of the hills here at Hardack, where families are getting ready to show off their homemade sleds and duct tape masterpieces to see who will be crowned this year's champion. Now, there are 4 titles up for grabs, each with a cash prize: fastest sled, best design, team spirit, and judge's choice. Riders will make their way past the lodge so we can see an up-close look at these sleds for everyone watching at home. They'll make their way up to the starting line, up towards that hill. You can see a couple of cones. We'll have our camera videographer here, Alan, take a look at that starting line all the way up at the top, and they'll make their way down the hill to what you can't see is, I guess, a blue line, but then the finish line there. There will be 2 officials, one at the beginning and some at the end, both of them timing out so that we know exactly how fast these sleds are moving. And hopefully we'll be able to give you some unofficial times as the day goes on. We've seen some very interesting sleds so far. Everyone's gone above and beyond in their design. Some of the rules that these participants had to abide by: only sled materials were allowed: cardboard, duct tape, paint, and wax. No hardware permitted, so that means no wood, plastic, metal, screws, piping, etc. And fortunately, we haven't seen any disqualifications of us today, so everyone's been abiding by the rules. And they were also able to decorate it with any kinds of paint, pictures, flags, etc., which you will see zooming down this hill here at Hardack. Temperature coming in around 23 degrees, but a beautifully, beautiful sunny day here in St. Albans. This is typically the scene for the Winter Carnival hosted by the St. Albans Recreation Department, but due to some... Oh, and here comes the first one. This is our first contestant inspired by COVID vaccine. It's a large needle, and they just flipped there about halfway up. Family that helped design this lives in Williston. They love to sled at Hardack. Their design is all thanks to the healthcare workers for their great service during this pandemic. And they're just going to keep on going. So that kind of started without an official warning that they were going to start coming down the hill. Next up is I Like Warm Hugs by Mackenzie Perez. It's their first year doing the Duct Tape Derby. And of course, I Like Warm Hugs, a tribute to Olaf from Disney's Frozen. Family loves Disney and winter in Vermont. They show off their skills at Duct Tape Derby here in just a moment. And here they are going down the hill, spinning, going backwards, back, and they're still backwards and bumping into the side. Spinning a little bit, but still going. A push from our spotters halfway up the hill, unneeded. Still heading down. Almost to the finish line. And even with a couple bumps along the way, call that a successful run for I Like Warm Hugs. Next up at the top, once we clear the way here, is The North Pole Rides Again. We do have some names and information from the families. This one's by Joshua and Madison Brown. Their inspiration is Josh loves Christmas and wanted to see Santa's sleigh fly down the hill. This is Josh's 3rd year and Madison's 2nd. Here they are off. Santa coming down the hill, just spinning out of control. Hitting the side, but still waving to the crowd, similar to the Macy's Day Parade. Making way down, and there goes Santa. Not too bad. And going back again backwards. And down the hill. Might need to recruit a few reindeer for next year. Next up is 803, which has been dubbed the Batmobile. And again, we have some information from families, but not a lot. Family name we have here is Butler. Getting a quick push. And again, most of these sleds are starting to spin out of control. I think we've counted at least 6 spins here, and that's the way this sled is going to keep traveling. As it slowly makes its way down the finish line. And as the Batmobile, just barely crosses the finish line. No, we're going to get a little help. Thank you, Robin. Gotham is now saved again. Next up is Kylie Baker and Steve DeRoshi. This one dubbed the Canines. Their inspiration coming from loving all things animal. This is their 4th year in the Derby. And their sled was built in just 2 hours, so hopefully it also breaks the speed around as well. And it's flying right now. They are picking up some incredible speed through the finish line. My goodness. I think we could even, we'll let our videographer know, might as well just keep getting them as they go down that hill, if we can. Because they're picking up some speed and they're going quite the distance. And next in this last grouping, labeled as God Bless America. Inspiration, the family, or just proud Americans. We have Tristan, 10, and Maya, 16. Maya helped build, but will not ride in the sled, as God Bless America comes down about 50 feet or so and crashes into the side, readjusting. And there goes one of the spotters out there to try and give a little extra push to get back down to the finish line. But as of right now, without any unofficial time, it looks like the Canines will hold your speed record so far today. And God Bless America slowly taking a trip down the hill. Just a leisurely sled. And now we're almost ping-ponging down the hill. The spotter's just trying to get a shimmy their way down the hill to the finish line. And we are crossing the finish line, finally. And actually getting some of their best distance after the finish line down that second part of the hill. Next up, we don't have a name for this sled. The family name we have here is Hayflinger, unless that is the name of the sled, which is actually a pretty good name for a sled. And here they come down. Oh, actually, no. Looks like we have Buckbeak instead. And we've stopped about halfway. Buckbeak, the inspiration for this sled comes from the Hippogriff in Harry Potter. This is Ben and Ayla Headley's first time participating in the Duct Tape Derby. Maybe a couple Nimbus 3000s for next time. Fun facts about Ben and Ayla, who are currently flying down the hill on their Buckbeak. They moved here 2 years ago from Seattle, and they've never seen a Duct Tape Derby until 2 summers ago when at St. Albans City Pool they saw the Duct Tape Regatta. They've never seen one on snow, and now they can cross that off their list. Not only have they seen it, they've now participated in it. I think the only thing that we have missing from this Duct Tape Derby that we truly love to see is the smiles on these kids' faces. But unfortunately, with the way that COVID-19 is in our community, everyone has masks and are doing their best to separate from other families. This one, just to sum up 2020, this is called the dumpster fire that was 2020. From Owen and his dad, Pat. Inspiration, the troubles of 2020, and looking forward to a better life ahead. This is their first year participating, and I'll tell you what, up close and personal, the sled did not look like they are first timers here. Many people were pretty wide-eyed looking at this sled as it came from the parking lot, and all very excited to watch 2020 skid past us here. And as they started out, they start out slow, unfortunately, hitting the side and coming to a dead stop. But I mean, what more could you ask for 2020, right? So again, one of the volunteers here at Hardack, helping push them along the dumpster fire that is 2020. And it looks like they're going to push their way through to the finish line. And there we go. Now we can turn the page on 2020. The dumpster fire, that was 2020. Let's not even look back. Look forward to 2021. The next set of sleds that we have coming up here. We have the Larson family. And again, we don't have too much information about what their sleds are or the inspiration for them, but you'll be seeing it live with us as they come down the hill. Again, each sled will get an extra push from a family member or staff member just to try and pick up some speed as they go down the hill. So far today, the Canines was definitely the fastest that completed the run. They didn't hit any walls. They just straight down the hill and actually ended up halfway through the soccer fields here down at the Greg Brown Lodge. Different scene than what we're used to seeing for the Winter Carnival that's hosted here every year. And the Duct Tape Derby, just one of those many events that's held here, along with a ice bowl football game, sugar on snow, plenty of sledding and skiing. Again, just waiting here for the next round. And it looks like the next one is preparing to take their spot at the top of the hill. And again, they do get a push. It's not like you have to generate your own speed here. You will after you go over the hill. Straight down, again, this is the Larson family. They have 2 entries. The first one going down pretty well. Up until that point. Oh, got a lot of snow to the face too. But pretty quickly across the finish line. Next up, we have another family, same entry from the same family, Larson. Made this a little bit of family rivalry here. Who's going to have the better sled? And we're getting the thumbs up from the top of the hill. And we're off. Again, this is the second entry from the Larson family. Hitting the edges. Luckily, those edges are even there. We're starting to turn. We're starting to go backward. Nope. We've recorrected. And here they come. Straight through. And they're going to keep on going. This sled does not want to stop. Great design, some rainbow colors on that sled as well as it zips down the hill here at Hardack. The next couple are from a family by the name of Leonard. The first one with bib number 815 is called Feel the Burn. I don't know if it's just a pair of mittens coming down the hill or if it's in any relation to Bernie Sanders or just feeling the burn. And after the push, we've come to a stop and we're shimmying down the hill now, just trying to get going. And now we're going sideways. And again, one of our spotters here do a little bit of correcting and try and get that sled going. That volunteer is earning their money today, let me tell you. Maybe that's what they meant by the sled name. It's Feel the Burn, so the volunteer is going to feel the burn from the workout they're getting from pushing the sled down the hill. Well, ready to call in the reserves. I gotta appreciate the determination from the volunteers here to make sure that everyone crosses the finish line with that sense of accomplishment.
Hi, are you looking for slippers? I am.
There, he's not giving up. It's determination by not only the volunteers, but well, actually just the volunteers. That's the determination. And also the sled rider for not getting up. This is definitely what they meant by feel the burn, because we have now four volunteers pushing themselves to get this sled across the finish line. Here we are. We'll take it. And next up, also from the same family, Leonard, this one's called Race Car. I think they're hoping for a different outcome than Feel the Burn. And I think the volunteers are too. Here comes Race Car. And there stops Race Car. And there goes Race Car. There's no rhyme or reason sometimes to these things just stopping. Oh, hitting the side of the track. And it looks like they're going to wave the caution flag here. And it seems like the sled race car can just not pick up enough momentum to continue down the hill. I think we have to switch out some volunteers here to give this one at the top a little break. And one thing I apologize for not knowing is that depending on how many of these sleds go down the hill, does it start to affect the grooves that you have, the smoothness of the hill, which could in turn hurt the rest of the sledders. And not as much of a struggle as the last, but here comes Race Car crossing that blue finish line. Then next up, we still have our few more sledders to go. A few more, quite a bit. This is the most we've ever had, apparently, at Duct Tape Derby, most participants. This one coming up, a tasty treat for you all, the Fuego Dog, which the inspiration is a hot dog. It's from Gavin Lothrop, and I apologize for any mispronunciations of the name. The inspiration for him was, I just thought it'd be cool. Come up with a hot dog. And there goes Fuego Dog. Skidding down. Oh no, we have a crash. But he seems to be okay. Getting out of the sled and getting back in. That's determination. There goes Fuego Dog. Still making its way down. Now we're going backwards and back forward again. Gavin goes to Georgia Elementary School. His favorite subject is reading. And he's been looking forward to this derby for quite some time. This is his first time participating in the Duct Tape Derby. And hopefully not the last. Hopefully this race doesn't leave a bad taste in his mouth. with the Fuego Dog. Next up is Carson and Gavin Murray with their sled Trainwreck. This one was also pretty impressive watching it come from the parking lot. Their inspiration was they want to do something outside of the norm, and everywhere we go, the family joke is that we're a train wreck. This is their first time participating in the event. And the fun fact for this family is the drivers are brothers and moved here from Florida in April of 2020, and this is their first full winter ever and first winter event. So welcome to the Murray family to St. Albans. And the train wreck did exactly what you thought it probably would do. It wrecked pretty quickly. I think the front of the train dug right into the snow, and from there, a little push from the spotter, and we are going sideways and backwards, and we're at a full stop. It looks like as if part of the train wreck has fallen off. We've had some very creatively designed sleds today. Not the most aerodynamic, but a lot of fun to look at. This train is running off steam. Just a slow go down the hill. As we have volunteers grabbing from both sides of the sled. And again, as they have so far for our participants, do everything they can to get them to the bottom of that hill and across the blue finish line. And now they're hopped out of the sled. They're going to try and push it down just across that finish line. Claps and cheers from the crowd. Everyone here just trying to have a good time on this very cold day in St. Albans, he says from inside the Greg Brown Lodge, while his videographer is freezing next to camera equipment. And Trainwreck crosses the finish line. So hopefully again, we see Carson and Gavin for their second time ever at a winter carnival next year. This one got the attention of our videographer, Alan. This one's called Arctic Jaws. It is the shape of a great white shark. Their inspiration is Eva Phillips, a great white shark, because how cool they are. I agree. And here comes the shark down the hill. And it has flipped on its side. Oh, that poor fish. Just trying to get it upright and hopefully go right back down that hill. This is Eva's first time participating. Loves trading Pokemon cards. I mean, who doesn't? With their family. Now, the volunteer here has to be a little careful because you're really not supposed to mess with a great white shark. They are quite dangerous. One of the most ferocious things in the sea. will eat anything. But seems to be moving a little slower than most great whites. And here comes the shark right down through the finish line, almost to the finish line, with a little help from our friends. I advise all, do not do what the volunteer do. Never put your hand down the mouth of a great white shark. Again, very dangerous. Next up is the family from the family name of Pollock, and theirs is the Barbados Wreck. So maybe named after a cruise line. Sporting some festive teal coloring. And here's the push. Hitting the edge, but continuing down the hill. The first spotter, at least, very happy. And the second as well. No extra pushes needed so far. As the Barbados Wreck makes its way down the hill. And again, while maybe not the speediest, we're gone, and now we're going down backwards. Almost made it to the finish line. But when you have a name like the Barbados Wreck, I mean, you would anticipate that's going to wreck. Not that it's going to be successful. And crossing the finish line. So congratulations to the Pollock family. So next one we have, we believe, is the Pothier family. Unfortunately, we don't have much information about this sled. It looks... We've already had a crash. Didn't even see it go off. That's how quick they were at the beginning. Back in. And down the hill. This one's all definitely about steering down, because if he turns sideways just a little bit, that would flip, similar to what it already did. Sometimes you just got to feel the rhythm and the rhyme. And choosing to withdraw from the race early before crossing the finish line. And we got the spotters up there just giving a little bit of snow help. Next one coming down is the from the Potter family. Potter. This is the KPB Jet, driven by Key. And Key likes planes. That's why he made his jet. His fourth year participating, Duct Tape Derby at Hardack has become a family tradition for the whole family. As it has for many here in St. Albans, and unfortunately, we weren't able to have as many participants and viewers here on the hill. visitors, but hopefully you're all watching from the comforts of your own home, thanks to our friends at Northwest Access TV. As we get ready for the KPB jet to take off. And a thumbs up from the top of the hill. And with a quick push. There goes the jet, wobbling all the way down. Oh my goodness. A little bit of turbulence as we make our way through the first part of the hill. But luckily starting to balance out a little bit. Soaring down, picking up speed, and through the finish line. No crash for the KPB jet. And if I can see correctly, this is the daddy and daughter duo of Isaac and Joanna Lambert. And they've created, and I had to write this down and figure it out, the Skid Bladnir. Skid Bladnir is the name of the ship that we see here. Inspired by a magical foldable ship in Norse mythology that could fit into the owner's pocket and the wind always favored. With the push down the hill. With the daddy doing a little bit of steering, but still going down the hill as they've done a full 360 and still going strong. Not too bad for first-year participants. As the limited crowd here goes wild. Isaac was that lead engineer on the project, while Joanna painted, delegated tasks, and demanded more snacks. Next up, we're going to have Drake Scheiber. Again, I apologize for any, and Dad Douglas. This one's called No Diving. Sled name is No Diving because they wish they could be swimming right now instead of sledding. Honestly, doing pretty well. Also first-year participants. They're new to Vermont, moved here, having never stepped foot in the state during the pandemic. And crossing the finish line pretty easily. This was the sled where I looked at our videographer, Alan, and said, there's your dark horse. Because it is a simple design, but very effective. Next up, we have the Stewart family. And again, not much information, but we can tell you one thing. This sled is a tank. Figuratively and literally a tank. This is what they designed it to look like, is a tank. So see what happens as it rumbles down the hill. Turning on its side and almost coming down backwards, but still moving. And we're going to get just a little bit of help here from our volunteers. Hopefully a quick push down the hill. And we've stopped about halfway. Again, unfortunately for our volunteers that have done such a great job making sure that all sleds can at least try and cross the finish line today. To be fair, tanks aren't really meant to be fast, so they are meant to kind of trudge along, but nothing really seems to get in their way. And through the finish line goes the tank. Next up is Maddox Tebbets, which fittingly after tank, we have this sled name is called simply Boom. Maddox is going for the fastest sled today. He said he did his research on the fastest cardboard sleds on YouTube, and his findings led to the toboggan design. This is Maddox's first winter competing. However, he was in the Milton's Duct Tape Derby last weekend. No word if it was the same sled or not. I don't see a gold medal around his neck, so maybe he's keeping his trophies at home if he did walk away with something. And if he's going for the speed round, he's close. Our fastest sled today was the Canines, and Maddox is giving them a run for their money as he crosses the finish line. And still going. Hopefully that research pays off for him.
It was 11?
Next is Jillian Thompson with her sled, Chesterfield. Her inspiration was her love for cats. And it's gone over the ridge and, oh no, and flipped into the brush. The volunteers are going to take a look, see if she is okay. Just jumped right over the ridge. Doesn't seem to be any immediate rush to get any attention, so it must be the sled just. Our rider here seems to be okay getting up. Seems to be okay walking back over. They might try this again, putting this at halfway point and getting back in Chesterfield. It's Jillian's second time racing, but her first time in this derby. Garfield the cat is her inspiration behind the Chesterfield sled. She's calling Chesterfield the cousin of Garfield, who also has a big appetite for a piping hot lasagna. Chesterfield is actually holding on to lasagna as tight as he can as he races down the hill, eager for a celebratory feast. And there goes Chesterfield, past the finish line and continuing on. Beautiful design, looks just like a cat. Just needed a little extra push. That's what we needed there. Coming up next is Katie Thompson. We might actually have a family here that's competing against each other. And this one's called the Little Ladybug. Inspiration was Katie's mom's ladybug tattoo. Flying quite quick, hitting a, oh no, and we've spun around. Everyone looks to be okay. Just a little shooken up. We're going to take a look at it, check out, make sure everyone's okay. And we have decided we will not be continuing. As parent in tow gives those necessary hugs after a crash down Hard Rock Hill. Not the first and certainly not the last. It is intimidating coming down Hard Rock Hill. I don't know personally, but I've heard stories. But you're quite a ways up. So I give credit to a 4-year-old wanting to do this, because I wouldn't be putting my 4-year-old on a hill like this. So it looks like we're going to go with the next one, which is Oh Tractor, Wesley Thompson, also 4, from the same family. Coming down the hill and just grazing the edge, but continuing down. Inspiration is Wesley's fierce love of tractors, especially John Deere. And he's sporting that green right now. And look how great this tractor coming down the hill. All right, sign him up for the tractor pull. This is his second time racing, but his first in this derby. What's his most favorite thing in the world are tractors. And I think he did them right with his design on Oh Tractor, Oh Tractor. Now these next few, we don't have much information about. Troville is this next one coming down the hill. So we'll sit in anticipation as we're not even sure what the design is. We're down to our last few sleds here for the 2021 Duct Tape Derby. As the Troville family comes down, looks more like a tractor of some sort, or a truck of some sort. And we're going backwards more than we're going forward, but it's effective. A wide base is keeping that thing from flipping over, and we are across the finish line just like that. And we apologize for some people in the front here that are in our way, trying to get a nice glimpse of the sleds coming down the hill. Next two seem to be from the same family, labeled Tuck. Tuck, T-U-C-K, Tuck. Getting a thumbs up from up top and from down, and here comes the next sled. It's just spinning out of control. If I had to guess, it looks somewhat up like a peacock type of goose type of thing. Self-correcting and slowly making its way down the hill. Could be a turkey too. I truly don't know. But it looks like we will cross the finish line, and I don't mean to jinx them as they shimmy their way down. And just a little more help. As this turkey, peacock, chicken, I truly don't know. It's beautiful. I just don't know what it is. And last one from the family, Tuck. Again, we don't have much information about it. But we assume it's from the same family. The wider base ones have done pretty well. And even backwards, we're still making our way down. Oh, it's a mouse. And it's a mouse full of snow now. Still continuing down the hill to the finish line. And squeaks just past. And then continuing back down the hill. Pretty successful for the Tuck family. It was a mouse. And then finally, unless there were a late participant to this, which I don't believe there were, we have Rosie and Maggie with Unikitty. Their favorite things, Maggie loves unicorns, Rosie loves kitties. Mash them together, and what do you get? A sled that looks like a Unikitty. First time participating in the Derby. The drivers are 8 and 10 years old, both just celebrated birthdays. They have 2 fluffy kittens at home, which inspired the kitty part of the Unikitty sled. And I hope for them everything is awesome when it comes to coming down sled here, coming down the hill at Hardack. So we have our last participant here at the Duct Tape Derby. Judging and scoring will happen afterwards. Hopefully we'll be able to find all that information on the St. Albans Recreation Department Facebook page and website. So there's our last one, Unikitty, heading down the hill, grazing the side, but staying upright. Tail whipping a little bit, but continuing down the hill. Claps and cheers from the crowd as we have our last sled crossing the finish line, Unikitty, with a successful run down the hill here at Hardack. Each participant receiving a lanyard and medal for their completion of coming down Hardack Hill for the Duct Tape Derby, with a couple other trophies as well to be handed out to, again, the fastest sled, team spirit, the judge's choice, and I'm forgetting the last one. I think it's sled design. And again, thank you all for watching. And hopefully this time next year, we'll have a lot more audience members and participants to enjoy the area that is Hardack Recreation Area.